Hello world, welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. Hello world and welcome to the Shannon Joy Show. We're broadcasting live from the Joy Virtual Studio right here in the beautiful Finger Lakes region of New York State. It is so good to be with all of you today. It is Monday, March 16th, super windy here in New York State and across the country. We have some bad weather barreling towards us. We're going to talk a little bit about that. It's great to see all of you today on the Ask Jay Show. Of course, we're broadcasting live from Rumble. We are live on Twitter. We are live on Spreely TV, Roku TV, Apple TV, Facebook, Substack, Twitter, and of course, you can get the SJ Show every day at your leisure on any of your favorite podcast platforms. We're on Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, you name it, the SJ Show is there. And if you are listening via podcast, please do us a huge favor. Make sure that you give us a 5-star review if you like the show and leave a comment because that helps to grow the podcast audience, which is growing by leaps and bounds. So it is amazing to be with all of you today. It is the Ides of March and everything is freaking crazy. Like the headlines over the weekend, over the past 3, 4, 5 days are absolutely insane. I don't know what my psychographic profile is on social media, like Substack and Twitter, especially Facebook, but I am getting the worst scroll of doomsday, apocalyptic, like end of the world stuff, more than I have ever seen in years, and it's just crazy. Like every third scroll is worldwide famine imminent, World War III imminent, nuclear deployment of missiles imminent, Iranian terror attacks in the interior of the United States of America imminent, AI takeover, robot takeover, the destruction of the economy, like literally. And I'm like, what is it about my profile that is delivering this type of scroll to me? You know, I asked my husband, devastatingly handsome Dr. Joy, I'm like, listen, are you getting these things? Because I mean, I'm about to stick my head in the oven with this. Like, what is happening? And he's like, no, I'm getting, you know, a lot of stuff on volleyball and nutrition and this and that. So clearly, psychological operations are being deployed to different demographic and psychographic populations of Americans, Democrats, Republicans, evangelicals, independents, and also media analysts and political analysts and influencers, which you would probably, I would consider myself at this point. Very difficult to wade through all of the propaganda, but there are a lot of stories out there. I don't know if you guys are getting this as well. Here, we are going to keep calm and carry on. We're going to hunker down, understanding that there are bots and trolls and fake accounts and imposter accounts and real humans posing as you know, evangelical Christians or you know, other entities, and it's just crazy. This is why I wanted to have Emerald Robinson on the show with me today. Emerald was scheduled, but the wild weather has thrown everything off. She has lost power and is now, as I speak to you today, en route to pick up her kids from school because all the schools are closed. So Emerald was supposed to join me at 1 p.m. Eastern time in the Joy Virtual Studio live today to talk about these psyops. She has uncovered, and this is why I wanted to go over this today. We will go over it briefly, and then I am rescheduling Emerald for either Thursday this week or Monday or Tuesday next week live to spend about 40 minutes with me. But Emerald has uncovered in her reporting on Lindell TV an alleged psyop targeting evangelical Christians, which is really interesting. And we're going to look at this briefly, and a statement from Emerald that she pushed out on her socials over the weekend, among other things, but we won't go into it as deeply. because obviously we don't have Emerald. So we are praying for Emerald and everyone who is in the wake of this like super crazy, wild weather pattern that is barreling across the United States of America and the East Coast. In fact, I was just talking to Annie, who is producing the SJ show today. Annie Cyrus had a appearance in Illinois and she said the wind was so bad that she actually had to pull over and wait it out. The wind is crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So I don't know what's going on with these weather patterns, but it just seems, beware the Ides of March, man. They're going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at us as we wade through March. You see the headline today of today's show: civil war erupting within MAGA and MAHA over Trump betrayals. I was going to talk with Emerald about that as well. But as you all know, Trump is now threatening to arrest Tucker Carlson at the behest of people like Laura Loomer, sparking a new round of Biden-era censorship techniques. And this is because Tucker Carlson is speaking out against the war in Iran, echoing the sentiment of 80% of the American population, by the way. This is a very unpopular war, and absolutely no one wants it except for the neocons, MAGA people that are connected to Donald Trump and the military-industrial complex. Like, that's it. That's it. Oil prices are skyrocketing. This is impacting every American. Gas prices, energy prices. This is also going to give way to higher prices for literally everything as they close the Strait of Hormuz. It's going to impact every American negatively. But Trump and his cronies, the military-industrial complex, the technological-industrial complex, and everyone tethered to this administration is getting filthy rich because, well, they're doing great while the rest of the country is absolutely decimated. So this president is losing popularity very quickly, and especially from his core support groups within MAGA and MAHA. There are now videos all over social media of former MAGA Trump supporters burning their hats, and this is catching on like wildfire as people see a presidency full of betrayals with no end in sight. So this new action and threat against Carlson, we also have now Donald Trump demanding the death penalty, accusing reporters of treason for not reporting on the news that he would like, the way that he would like them to report. This was in a press conference with media just about 24 hours ago. Trump is now saying that reporters who cover his war in Iran in a negative manner should face charges of treason, which is a crime punishable by death. And this was reported in the Daily Beast. I know it's a liberal, left-leaning news outlet, but you cannot ignore this president in what appears to be a new effort of extreme censorship. So this is not only a threat to Tucker Carlson and any journalist, independent journalist who dares to speak out against this administration and against the actions in Iran, but every independent journalist in America. Tensions are rising now, of course, among MAHA and MAGA loyalists. And we're seeing this now. New outrage from MAHA over Trump's executive order, which is establishing liability protection for chemical companies, and this is in regards to glyphosate. And we have a report on that from Children's Health Defense. Not only are we not removing liability protections from pharmaceutical corporations who have enjoyed liability protection in a variety of ways for over 30 years, that promise has been broken by this administration, Bobby Kennedy Jr., the MAHA coalition, and Donald Trump. Not only are we not getting those liability protections removed or justice for COVID-19 vaccine injured, we are now getting new liability protections given to tech companies, AI corporations, and now chemical companies with glyphosate. So we're going to look at that piece as well from Children's Health Defense. So the list of betrayals here is very long and very bitter from Donald Trump, from the war in Iran, global instability, the Epstein protection racket. We just saw an announcement from the DOJ. They're not releasing any more Epstein documents. I think it's a matter of national economic security, which is insane. So from global instability, the war with Iran, the Epstein protection racket, a failure to secure elections, which is really pissing off the MAGA right, who were promised free and fair elections and credibility. Obviously, the cratering economy, blatant cronyism, to gross expansion of the tech med industrial complex post-COVID, with absolutely no justice for the victims of Operation Warp Speed. One betrayal after another. And now, as I mentioned, Trump seeks to expand PHARMA-style liability protections for glyphosate manufacturers, which is just blowing the lid off of MAHA. This is what Emma Robinson had to say about Taco Trump today on her Twitter account. She said, Trump has bigger problems than the podcast wars. And the podcast wars, I mean, this is insane. Megyn Kelly versus Mark Levin, will go into it. It's insane. It's utterly insane. Tucker versus Laura Loomer, Megyn Kelly versus Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro versus Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes versus whoever. It's all falling apart. An absolute cracking of the very fragile base that delivered the White House to Trump in the first place, with no end in sight. But Emerald had this to say: Trump has bigger problems than the podcast wars. The scoreboard is the scoreboard. And this is why I wanted to have Emerald on. She's one of those independent reporters, journalists, who's actually calling out the Trump administration. And she has been since he came into office. But let's check the score, she writes. No arrests for anyone except for Don Lemon. A fight with Musk to stop Doge. Remember that? The Department of Government Efficiency. He is ruthlessly and relentlessly attacking people like Tom Massey, one of the last good congressmen standing, especially if you believe in fiscal responsibility and limited government and monetary, sound monetary policy. If you believe in accountability for the federal government and a devolution of power to the states and localities, the Constitution, common sense, right? All of those things, you would support Tom Massey. But Donald Trump picks the one guy who is actually resonating with more and more Americans, especially independents, forming a coalition, it appears, with people like Ro Khanna, Democrat from California, of all the states. Very interesting, this new coalition that we're seeing formed. And in fact, Ro Khanna has joined with Tom Massey on a piece of legislation to take apart the chemical company liability protection relating to glyphosate. He is now co-sponsoring a bill with Tom Massey. So we're seeing a new coalition form here. The flip-flop on Epstein, the protection racket around child predators and rapists, his attack on Marjorie Taylor Greene. He's endorsing Lindsey Graham. He's endorsing the massive data centers for people like Mark Zuckerberg. He's praising Albert Bourla and Bill Gates, the pharma giants who inflicted the United States of America and its people with their poison shots. His relationship with Howard Lutnick, his ignoring of the J6ers, his ignoring of FBI whistleblowers, the current war in Iran, and Emerald is really just keeping score. This is why we're seeing this coalition and a breaking of the support base for Donald Trump. And this is probably why he's lashing out and probably why he's threatening to arrest journalists and independents who are critiquing his war with Iran and his alliance with Israel in this insane war that benefits no one here in the US. It's pretty crazy. So we're going to tackle all of this today. But first, I'm going to say hello to all of you. Welcome, everyone, to the show. The live chat is up on Rumble. If you're watching on Substack or Twitter and you want to pop in a question or a comment, Inez Annie Cyrus is producing the SJ show today, and she will keep an eye on those feeds and pop those comments into the chat so that I can see them and read them. But of course, the Rumble chat, absolutely amazing. Enoch to us is the very first Rumble live chatter. Great to see you. Greetings to everyone. Mrs. Lovely is with us today. Good morning from Southern California, where it's going to be 100 degrees today. Here in New York State, it is going to push 60 degrees in New York, super windy right now. But the temperature is going to plummet tonight to like 20 degrees and plummet even further to tomorrow to the teens, where we are then expecting a couple inches of snow, which is just welcome to March, right? Honor Seeker is with us on the live chat. Be My Valentine is with us as well. Lou Melcom is with us. Hello from Long Island. Mama C 1996. Great to see you. Hello, Bill Benz. So great to see you as well. We have Chronozone 777 with us. CM 1968 joining us. Buskman has this to say. We talk Trumpflation, shrinkflation, and the deadly vaccines. Yeah, I mean, not a lot of good headlines out there. No one is doing well. And that's pretty evident in the conversations that I'm having with regular people. The headlines are just insane. They're just absolutely insane. And the infighting between conservative commentators and podcasters and radio personalities is absolutely crazy. And this Megyn Kelly versus Mark Levin, I mean, it's taking it to a whole new level and a whole new low. And these people, I mean, it's a circus sideshow. It's becoming more and more evident to me that so many of these battles between influencers and commentators and podcasters are just designed to be super, super hyperbolic. And it's like watching a soap opera or a train wreck. And they're not really telling you anything that you need to know about how to protect yourself in the coming instability. They're just fighting with each other around, everything Donald Trump. And it's low level, very low level analysis. I mean, Mark Levin used to be great. I don't know what happened to him. So many in conservative right are just not good anymore, in my opinion. He used to tether everything in terms of his analysis to the Constitution and constitutional principles. He wrote a couple great books on that. And I learned an enormous amount from Mark Levin way back in the day. But his Trump derangement syndrome and tethering to this administration and twisting himself into a pretzel, twisting the Constitution into something unrecognizable to justify the actions of this president, the illegal, immoral, and unlawful, unconstitutional actions of this president, it's a sight to behold. He, and so many, Sean Hannity, Mark Levin, Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, The Blaze, you name it. Anything and everything they can do to justify and propagandize for this president. And it's very difficult to watch. But Megyn Kelly really isn't any better. I mean, Megyn Kelly was pimping Trump hard for the entirety of 2024. She was responsible with her platform for putting him in office the second time, the same guy who locked us down in the first place and did all kinds of horrible things in terms of Operation Warp Speed and the rollout of the poison shot, which Megyn Kelly herself said she was injured by, right? Well, that doesn't matter, apparently. She doesn't care that she suffered debilitating injury from Donald Trump's shot, right? She pimped him all through 2024, put him in office, and now she's crying about everything that he's doing, along with Tucker Carlson, and fighting with Mark Levin over who's right about this. And this goes into, of course, the war in Iran. And this is what Megyn Kelly, just so you can see how ridiculous this is. This is absolutely ridiculous. We're going to get into substance in just a moment, of course. I have a lot of great stories here. Oh my gosh. We're going to get to this one a little later in the SJ show. Thank you to Nicholas Holscher, who just released, this is an unbelievable study. Very often when we talk about the shots, when we talk about injections, when we talk about vaccines, We will discuss the childhood vaccine schedule, which consists of about 80 or 90 shots that every child in the US will get as recommended by the CDC by the time they're 18 years old. A vast majority of them before they're 5 years old, many of them on the first or second day of life. They're pumping these chemicals into these babies' bodies, and it is wreaking havoc in a million different ways. The other area that we focus on when talking about injections, clearly the COVID shots and Operation Warp Speed, the fast tracking of what were clearly bioweapons, which have poisoned millions upon millions of Americans, tens of millions of people across the globe. We still have not had any movement on the childhood schedule. We haven't had any movement on justice for those who were injured by the COVID shots, but that dominates a vast majority of the discussion around injections and shots in the US today. But this study, adult vaccination, shingles shots, flu shots, and some of the recommended adult vaccinations are wreaking havoc on adult bodies. And this is now a comprehensive study from the UK spanning 13.3 million UK adults. And this study, we're going to get into this piece from Nicholas Holscher. This study found it's the largest of its kind, and it found that common vaccines linked to 38 to 50% increased risk of dementia and Alzheimer's in adults. It's the single largest vaccine dementia study ever conducted. And the study found that risk intensifies with more doses. It remains elevated for a full decade and is strongest after the flu and pneumonia shots. So this is horrifying. And these are adults. We're going to look at this study. Man, if you are still getting injections, I think, this is just my opinion, but I don't know that I will ever get another injection in my life. In fact, I attribute my good health so far to the fact that I haven't had an injection, not a single injection for any type of, a flu shot or any type of vaccine since I was maybe 12 years old. Mainly because I was just lazy and I never went to the doctors. I mean, it was just kind of in my personality. It wasn't like I did it on purpose. But now looking back, there are actually two things. Number one, like I said, I never went to the doctor and I was pretty lazy, so I never got any shots or routine shots. I don't like needles anyway, so I just, even if they tried to give me one, I would say no. And the second thing that I think may contribute to good health, and I'm just speculating here based on my own situation. Everyone is different. The other thing is that I had very little, like I hardly had any birth control. Like I did a small round of birth control after the birth of my first son. But in terms of like the pill or birth control from, 12 years old on regularly, like I never did that. And I wonder if that has something to do. I'd love to see more studies on that. I know that Naomi Wolf has done some pretty good work on that, but we're going to look at this piece on routine adult vaccinations and their relationship to dementia and Alzheimer's. The question is, why is anyone getting shots anymore in the US? The good news is I don't have the stats with me, but there was another study. Vaccine rates and uptake across the board in every category is down. The culture is moving. In fact, I sent that study to Ed Dowd and Dr. Mary Talley Bowden over the weekend, because despite all of the propaganda, the refusal of this government to address the Americans' clear discomfort with the status of vaccinations in the country today and their worry about the risks associated with vaccines, despite the government's refusal to acknowledge it, accept it, do anything to mitigate those damages, whether it's from the Oval Office or HHS, more and more Americans, I think it's something around 50% of Americans are now questioning, or no, what was this stat? Over 50% of Americans now believe that the COVID shots have led to negative health outcomes or negative health events. And that's like an astronomical number. So I'm going to see if I can rustle up that study or that poll when we go to break. But, so even though a lot of bad things are happening, the culture is absolutely moving. The fact that the right-wing coalition, MAGA, MAHA, is cracking apart. They are not falling for the propaganda and the psyop from this administration. They're giving Trump a much shorter leash than he enjoyed, especially from MAGA in his first presidency, and turning very quickly. The public sentiment, very clear. Against the actions of the United States of America and Iran. Those numbers are terrible, showing that there is a new emerging coalition of independents in this country who are shedding the two-party political paradigm and critiquing both sides of the political aisle, which is huge. The culture is so incredibly important. And even though it doesn't seem like it today, like it matters, it absolutely does. So we're going to look at that today as well. And we are going to get some of your questions and comments. I see you on X. I see you, Doc Rebel. Trump is actually a fascist now. Oh, in every way, shape, and form, Doc Rebel, I agree with you. Fascistic tendencies from this president. Hey, we have Martin. Hey, Shannon, it's Buskman visiting your Substack feed. Love that. If you guys are watching on Substack, make sure you pop in your comments and questions. Annie Cyrus is keeping an eye on the Substack feed. Heading back to Rumble now. See you in a few days for the Summit for Truth and Wellness. That's right, guys. We are less than 7 days away from the 4th annual Summit for Truth and Wellness. We are so thrilled to welcome Dr. William Makis in exile from Canada. They are trying to put him in prison in Alberta. He has fled to the United States of America and will probably, likely, never go back to Canada because they are threatening the well-being of not only Dr. Makis, but also his family. His medical license approved in the state of New York, and he's going to be with us in Rochester, New York, to talk about cancer care, cancer treatments, and his persecution, and his vision of what a cancer care clinic would actually look like when he has the freedom to actually deploy protocols that we have now found to work. Protocols like ivermectin, fenbendazole, membendazole. His story is extraordinary. He will be with us live for a full day. We have the presentation on Saturday morning, March 21st. Doors open at 8:30 a.m. and the program starts at 9. We're going to finish up with the program around 12:30 and then have a beautiful luncheon. Dr. William Makis will be joined by Dr. Mary Talley Bowden, who is flying up from Texas to be with us live, and also Sasha Latapova, who is flying in from the West Coast to join us as well. We also have a team from Clout Hub, which is Todd Callender's organization, that is flying in from all over the country. I mean, you would not believe, we have dozens of people coming down from Canada. We have people flying in from Florida, Texas, New Mexico, Ohio, you name it, Pennsylvania, from all over the country for this momentous event. It is going to be amazing, and it's all live. We have, I'm not kidding, 40 tickets left, and then we're sold out. And the deadline is Wednesday. Because of the luncheon, I have to submit a head count by Wednesday. So if you haven't gotten your ticket for the 4th annual Summit for Truth and Wellness, we're going to have well over 200, and I'm thinking well over 210 already, but we only have a few tickets left, about 40, and I'm assuming that we are going to sell out on that. So go to theshannonjoy.com right now. That is theshannonjoy.com and get your tickets before they sell out. And I'm telling you, we're selling tickets at 8 to 10 a clip every day. And I think that's going to accelerate as people realize that there is, I mean, we have a limit. So make sure that you head over to theshannonjoy.com. That's theshannonjoy.com, JCH55. Where is this Truth Summit? It is right outside of Rochester, New York, JCH. If you guys are within the sound of my voice or driving range, I want to see so many of you. So we have people driving in from Pennsylvania, Long Island, downstate, Ohio. It's just going to be a great event. I'm so, so excited to welcome these amazing, amazing guests. And so you're going to see some great speakers. Of course, this is to benefit Americans for Healthcare Alternatives, an organization that I work with here locally in New York. Their mission is to someday build a brick and mortar wellness facility here in Western New York, Finger Lakes region. And they've been working at that project for many, many years, and we love to support them. So all proceeds after expenses go to Americans for Healthcare Alternatives, and we will also be passing the plate for them in a fundraiser on that day as well. So yes, it's just going to be amazing. Face-to-face is so important. So important. I see you, Strident Conservative. Great to see you on the live chat today. Trust the Secret Squirrel Plan is with us as well. Great to see you. Brasky 54, haven't seen you on the live chat. Amazing to see you as well. So let's take a quick break and then we will get into these stories. We're going to talk about glyphosate. We're going to talk about Alzheimer's and routine adult vaccinations, which is an area you have not seen a lot of discussion on. As I mentioned, we focus more on COVID shots and the childhood schedule, but this epidemic of dementia and Alzheimer's, absolutely debilitating, horrifying, the worst type of situation. Families suffer so profoundly, especially with Alzheimer's, just a horrible, horrible disease. It now appears that dementia and Alzheimer's directly linked to the number of vaccines that adults get. And this study is just absolutely astounding. 13.3 million UK adults. So if you have an adult loved one that is still getting their shots, they're still going to the routine checkups and getting those shots, they might want to take a look at this study. We're going to look at some other headlines as well, including the Meghan versus Mark. You can't make this stuff up. You really can't make this stuff up. That is the circus sideshow happening in conservative media. I would encourage all of you to look away because it really is a distraction from scrutiny on things that are actually going to impact your life and matter to you. But I do want to go over this Megyn Kelly versus Mark Levin flap because it's instructive as to how far they have fallen in terms of being credible sources for information. It's now just one big soap opera, and that's not okay. So we'll be back in a moment to discuss all of that. Thank you guys for being with us today. We're going to take a quick break. Keep it tuned right here. We'll be back in a minute on the SJ Show. I want to invite you. I would love to meet you. I know that we have the website up for the Summit for Truth and Wellness. We are meeting live here in Rochester, New York on March 21st for a full day. It is the 2026 4th Annual Summit for Truth and Wellness. I will be there live along with Dr. William Makis, a leader in cancer care using ivermectin, fembendazole, membendazole. He has treated over 8,000 patients. He just got his medical license in the state of Florida. He is revolutionizing how cancers are treated. He is curing cancers. We're going to be talking about cancer care, cancer prevention with Dr. William Makis, and we're going to be joined by Dr. Mary Talley Bowden. She's going to be coming up from the great state of Texas to be with us live in Rochester, New York, and also, of course, the amazing Sasha Latapova, among other distinguished guests. We are about halfway to sell out on this summit. So we have about 5 weeks before the summit. I want to encourage all of you, if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, go ahead and get those tickets because I do anticipate a full sellout. We have limited seating. It's going to be a beautiful morning of presentations, and then we are going to break and have a lovely luncheon afterwards. Plenty of time to meet and greet, to meet the speakers, fellowship, collaborate. It's just going to be an absolutely beautiful event. I love hosting it. And of course, all the proceeds, everything that we earn over The expenses to put the summit together will go to Americans for Healthcare Alternatives, an amazing organization that I've been working with for many years. Their mission is to provide an alternate or an alternative to the medical industrial complex with information, seminars, and they are seeking to build a brick and mortar wellness center right here in Rochester, New York. We want to help them get closer to that goal. Hey everyone, I am so proud to recommend Shift Gold to this audience as the gold standard for metals purchasing and investing. I couldn't ask for a better partner to help people understand gold and silver and use them as strategic instruments to protect their family's financial future. Peter Schiff's teaching on markets has shaped my understanding of how economies grow and why they collapse. And I've used them as a critical source for my daily broadcast for over 10 years. The Shannon Joy Show audience already knows and loves Peter because he has been such a treasured educator over the years. He is now the preeminent source for rock-solid financial analysis around the world. And this is because he understands the immutable laws of natural markets and his stalwart unwillingness to veer from absolute truths regardless of economic fads and political pressures. Bottom line, he doesn't sell out. And that means a lot to me. I trust Shift Gold, and you can too. Go to shiftgold.com/joy today to get started. You'll find some of the lowest spot prices for gold and silver and critical information on protecting your retirement savings with a gold or silver IRA. That's www.shiftgold.com/joy. Hedge against the chaos with our friends over at Shift Gold. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. My amazing, beautiful producer, Inez Annie Cyrus, just informing me in the break that Donald Trump is live right now with old Susie Q, his chief of staff. And basically, I suppose he's saying that we have won the war in Iran. Everything is great. We're killing everyone. Annie's going to give us a little update of what's going on right now with Donald Trump and this press conference in just a moment, because it's, it's a clown world. These headlines are just absolutely insane. So we're going to look at that in just a minute. Then we're going to go over Meghan versus Mark, and then we're going to look at Nicholas Hulscher's piece on adult vaccination and Alzheimer's dementia. And I agree with you. I see on the live chat, Nicholas Hulscher, he's unbelievable. He's doing unbelievable work. Focal Point is his Substack. He's working in conjunction with Peter McCullough and Courageous Discourse, his organization. In fact, Nicholas and I have been communicating for the past couple months. I don't know why I haven't had him on the show yet. We keep trying to get him on, and then I keep forgetting, and then there's a new headline. But I'm going to work on getting Nicholas on a regular basis. Another one that I've been working with is Holden Kulata. He's been doing some great work as well independently. A lot of good interviews coming up this week. Tomorrow, we have Michael Yon. On Wednesday, we have Doc Malik. We have Peter Schiff joining us on March 31st, again, so the end of the month. And I'm going to be working on Derek Bros as well, who's doing some really great work on what's going on with the war in Iran. Just some of the best independent political analysts out there. Of course, we are going to bring Emerald Robinson in either Thursday of this week or Monday or Tuesday of next week. Just a couple show notes. So before we go to Annie and look at what's going down with Donald Trump and his press conference, I do want to make an announcement about the Wellness Company. I'm so thrilled. I mentioned to you guys a couple weeks ago that the Wellness Company has come in as an annual sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show, and I am absolutely thrilled to be working with TWC. I use their products. I have been using their products for many, many years. Their emergency kits. I'm just recently absolutely obsessed with the ivermectin cream for the face, for rosacea and inflammation in the face. It is a miracle worker. just the best products from a company that stood tall and stood strong when those of us who were battling against lockdowns, we were being suppressed, we were being censored. The wellness company was telling the truth about ivermectin. They were supporting people like Dr. Peter McCullough and Kelly Victory and Dr. Drew and even the Shannon Joy Show early on. Just a great, great organization. And I am proud to be working with them. This is the new landing portal for the Shannon Joy Show. So if you are purchasing anything from the wellness company, please go to twc.health/joy. That's www.twc.health/joy. Use the joy promo code every time you purchase. You will get a discount. Right now, they're taking $20 off the Clear Skin Ivermectin Cream plus free shipping. So make sure you go to twc.health/joy to stock up on everything you need, from ivermectin to ivermectin cream to vitamins and supplements, a second opinion, an emergency kit. You name it, they have it at TWC. And this is a company that I have vetted extensively. It was great. I was able to fly down to Florida couple weeks ago when I visited my sister, was able to meet Peter Galuli, who is CEO of Wellness Company, face to face. We had a great breakfast and just really an amazing partnership. I trust them. You can too. twc.health/joy. That is twc.health/joy. You're going to be hearing more about the ivermectin cream a little later in the week. So thank you, thank you, thank you to TWC. And I'm also super pumped to start welcoming some of the amazing docs who are affiliated with TWC on the show. So of course, we're going to be bringing in Dr. Peter McCullough, Dr. Drew, who are already regulars on the SJ show, but Kelly Victory hasn't been in yet. I'm excited to bring her in. And of course, we'll bring Nicholas Holscher as well. So this is all about the war. Megyn Kelly came out a couple days ago or earlier. It was on March 3rd. And she said it's clearly Israel's war. I mean, she's critiquing now, joining Tucker Carlson and a host of ex-MAGA who are now America First, I guess. So Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Nick Fuentes, Megyn Kelly are all now coalescing around the anti-war theme and really hammering the Israel angle, basically saying that the U.S. is doing Israel's bidding, fighting the war for them. I'm not sure who is wagging that dog, to be honest. I don't know if the United States of America is in control or if it's Israel. There are rumors flying right now, by the way, about Bibi Netanyahu. He hasn't been seen in a few days, and the rumors are swirling that he might be dead. Very difficult to get the truth about what's happening in Iran and in the Middle East today. There is an enormous amount of propaganda. There are fakes, there are AI deep fakes, there is false news, there are bot and troll accounts that are pushing certain agendas, pro-war, anti-war. The US is winning, Iran is winning. Who knows what the hell is going on over there? It is all, the fog of war is incredibly dense right now. But Megyn now, I mean, but you know, those in conservative media, Con Inc. or Bizarro Con, as I like to call it, people like Laura Loomer, you know, they are falling now into their categories and waging war with each other. So Megyn Kelly coming out and saying it's clearly Israel's war, so it's all the Jews' fault. Mark Levin wanted it. It's his war. So apparently the radio host Mark Levin wanted war with Israel, along with Laura Loomer, who is insane, by the way. The woman's insane. She's insane. But apparently Laura Loomer, she's over in India right now. Laura Loomer is in India telling everyone that she is Donald Trump's top advisor. So I guess it's not Susie Wiles and it's not Howard Lutnick. It's Laura Loomer who's being smuggled in, I guess, on the DL and advising the president on who his enemies are and who his friends are. So Laura goes in and tells him who he can trust and who he can't trust and why he should wage war with Israel. So it's all just very insane. But Megyn Kelly attacks Mark Levin. Mark Levin wanted it. It's his war. Oh, Ben Shapiro, Lindsey Graham, Miriam Adelson. That's so obvious. They are the ones who've been pushing us into it. So Megyn Kelly, as I mentioned, is joining the growing chorus. Now, I am opposed to the United States involvement in anything that Israel is doing in the Middle East, whether it's Gaza, Iran, whatever the next war is. I am 1000% against it. That doesn't mean that I trust Megyn Kelly and Nick Fuentes and this new group, this new crop of America First commentators who are very narrowly isolating Israel as the source of all of the problems that we see today, which I think is low-level analysis. I think it's too simplistic. I think there are a lot of villains out there, a lot of warring factions that have agendas and have reasons to want global war, nuclear war, whatever it is, because when they break it, they can build it back up. And that's what, Trump is talking about right now. Apparently he's declared victory in Iran today with old Susie Wiles, and now we're going to build back better. So now we're going to take all the oil from Iran. We're going to rebuild Iran, even though the Ayatollah's son is the guy installed in the Iranian regime, which I don't know if that's any better. It's just all such a mess. But Mark Levin really didn't like what Megyn Kelly had to say. And so this is just how far the discourse has devolved. I only do this as an example so that you all know, I guess, to ignore what Megyn Kelly and Mark Levin have to say, because they're engaged in something. I don't know what it is. Is it a circus sideshow? Is it a little bit of kayfabe? Is it a fake fight? I have no idea. All I know is they were completely aligned behind Trump for the entirety of 2024, and now they're breaking off once again. And their analysis is just incredibly low level, and it's very distractionary. So Mark Levin pushes this out. Poor Megyn Kelly, an emotionally unhinged, lewd, and petulant wreck. This reminds me of Donald Trump's rhetoric. Remember back in the day, like Megyn Kelly, let's be honest, she is a little bit schizophrenic when it comes to Trump, right? Like during the original debate when she was asking him hard questions and he, made that horrifying comment about blood coming from wherever. And then she didn't like Trump and she was joining all the women who didn't want Trump in office. And then, that fell apart. Then she really liked him for a while. And then she didn't like him for a while. And then in 2024, I mean, it's back and forth and back and forth. I mean, as a woman who has been reporting on Donald Trump for the better part of 12 years, I can tell you this has never been hard. Like I've never gone back and forth. Trump is the same person that Trump was the day that he came down the golden escalator. And what is difficult today, I think, is being consistent in your opinions. I mean, these people are just all over the place. I don't know why anyone pays attention to them. Glenn Beck included, Ben Shapiro included, Tucker Carlson included. And remember, Tucker Carlson joined Megyn Kelly in 2024, encouraging his entire audience to vote for Trump as a lesser of two evils, just like all the other Con Inc. commentators. So now that they're all breaking off from each other and engaging in these fake fights, it's interesting to watch, but I think that we should just omit it. So Mark Levin says to poor Megyn Kelly, she's an emotionally unhinged, lewd, and petulant wreck. She's completely revealed and destroyed herself. She's everything people says she is, but much, much worse. Never an intelligent, thoughtful, or substantive comment. Utterly toxic, says Mark Levin. Well, not to be outdone, Megyn Kelly responds with micro penis Mark. She does that. I mean, she's putting this in writing. I just don't even know how you can consider yourself to be a serious journalist or reporter and engage in this way in public, in writing, on Twitter. But Megyn responds, micro penis Mark Levin show, and she tags him, thinks that he has the monopoly on lewd. He tweets about me obsessively in the crudest, nastiest terms possible. Literally more than some stalkers I've had arrested. He doesn't like it when women like me fight back because of his micro penis. And this is the state of conservative media today. I don't know what to say about this. This is not analysis. This is not news. It's something, but it is not what serious journalists or analysts engage in, and it certainly isn't keeping it classy. So Mark Levin, Megyn Kelly, and the war over his micro penis. I guess that's where we are now in conservative media. This is why I've termed it bizarro con, right? This is not about principles. It's not about free markets. It's not about constitutional values. It's not about limitations on the federal government. It's not about the Bill of Rights, the First Amendment, Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, Fifth Amendment. It's not about what is true or right. It's not about justice. It's not about anything other than driving the discourse into a ditch. And Megyn Kelly is involved in this, and Mark Levin is involved in this. They're being dragged down into the mud by the likes of Nick Fuentes and Laura Loomer and Candace Owens and a whole host of other bizarro con entities that are likely constructs. They've likely been deployed onto social media, granted massive platforms with the purpose of, really devolving and corrupting the discourse. And this is why I really wanted to welcome Emerald Robinson on the show today, because she has uncovered, these are psyops, and many of these psyops, these people, these humans behind these not bot accounts, but behind these Twitter accounts or social media accounts, seem to be part of larger psyops. And many of those psyops are targeted against evangelical Christians. You just have to omit them. You just have to ignore them. There is a growing crop of absolutely amazing independent journalists, thinkers, and commentators that you've met here on the SJ show. Just go back over the past month and a half. We feature 2 to 3 in-depth conversations, hour-long interviews with some of the best thinkers from every genre of political analysis, from economic to geopolitics to healthcare, domestic policy, political analysis, you name it. We have the best here in the SJ show. They are independent and they don't engage in any of this bullshit. Pardon my French. But this is just bad. Strident conservative. Levin has been like this ever since he hooked his wagon to Glenn Beck. Glenn Beck has been a disaster too. There's no serious news. I see you, Soylent Goy. So there's no serious news. There is. I would look to some of the guests that I feature here on the SJ show, the Free Thought Project, anything recommended by Michael Yon or Catherine Austin Fitz. The Solari Report is excellent. The Last American Vagabond, the Free Thought Project, that is Derek Bros, Ryan Christian, Whitney Webb, and that kind of group of independent free thinkers. We have Michael Yon on tomorrow for geopolitics and the Iran war. We have Doc Malik on. He's from across the pond over in UK. Very clear thinking. We just have some of the best. So yes, there's very, very real, serious discourse, and there is very serious reporting happening. It's just not in typical mainstream news media. Hey, I see you, Fez Woody, on the live chat. So Emerald Robinson, she just put out a great report on an alleged psyop targeting evangelical Christians, and it's been exposed. This is Insurrection Barbie. Big account, a Trump humping account. And apparently Insurrection Barbie is part of a larger psyop that is targeting evangelical Christians online. It's a coordinated information operation. And Emerald Robinson has uncovered this. We're going to see if we can get her in a little later this week. She was supposed to be in today, but there is a severe winter weather storm happening on the East Coast, and Emerald has lost power. And so when I talked to her this morning, she was hopping in the car on the way to pick her kids up from school because school is canceled. So we had to reschedule that. But I do want to bring Annie Cyrus in. I think she is back. As I'm speaking to you live right now, Donald Trump is conducting a press conference with his right-hand woman, Susie Wiles, apparently declaring victory in Iran. So I guess that's it. I guess it's over. We really don't know what the hell went on in Iran. Annie is Iranian, so she probably has her finger on the pulse of what's really going on in Iran, especially from the perspective of regular people. It isn't what we're hearing on the mainstream news media, but she is keeping an eye on that press conference. And yeah, there's old Susie Q, looking kind of pale. Annie says she thinks she might be drunk. I don't know. They're probably both drunk or high or something. Annie, how you doing today? Glad that you're back safe and sound from Illinois for your event and producing the SJ show. How are you doing today?
Oh, I'm good. Another day in circus of government.
It's a circus. I don't know what to say.
It's a
I mean,
circus.
Megyn Kelly, Mark Levin, and a micro penis. That's what we. That's news. That I guess that's what constitutes as news these days. It's terrible. It's actually insulting, I think,
Well,
to
I
we the people.
remember when I was learning about, the quote unquote culture of politics in America, I always remember they're like, conservatives are the classy ones and conservatives have morals. And I'm like, where did that go? Because that
Oh, that.
comment.
Yeah, yeah. That died a bitter, fiery death in Mar-a-Lago with the Tate brothers. That's where that went. Conservative is now, Trump humping protection rackets for, Sean Diddy Combs, the Tate brothers, and Epstein child rapists, right? Like that's where the evangelicals have to go now. It's crazy. It's terrible.
It is. But
Terrible.
by the way, so the news conference Trump was doing was apparently all part of a meeting he had with the Kennedy Center board members.
Okay. All right.
Yes, apparently at 11:45 a.m. Eastern time they had their meeting, and then Trump decided, since I have a microphone and a camera, why don't I sit here and make things up?
So, what does old Donald Trump have to say about what's going down in Iran? Have we won the war? Is he declaring victory?
Actually, he backtracked on that,
Okay.
Shannon. He
Okay.
basically said, we almost are there, but I'm not ready to declare victory yet because
Okay.
he might want to go back and attack the Khark, or you guys call it Khark, island of Iran again. And
Okay.
also, he's very upset that some of our allies decided not to send their ships to help us reopen Strait of Hormuz. So with
Interesting.
that, he cannot declare victory yet.
Okay. All right. But he's
Yeah.
taking all the oil, right? He's going to
He
go in and take the oil just like Venezuela.
he's gonna take the oil away. The way he's phrasing it is, I'm gonna take the oil, Iran's oil, away from China, like I did with Venezuela.
Okay. All
But
right. Okay.
just for your audience, let me just explain something. Not most of your audience don't believe this kind of stuff he says, anyways. But let me explain something. Iran is not Venezuela. There is no way he
Not
can
even
do
close.
this.
Yeah.
The,
No.
it not just through the regime, because the regime is almost crippled. It's done. And you mentioned something, Shannon. I reported it almost 2 weeks ago. The replacement of the supreme leader is already dead. The only reason regime named him is because they knew with the last name they're going to keep having the alliance of Hamas and Houthis and Hezbollah. He was in the same room as his father, as his sister and mother, and everybody died except him, right? So
Mm,
basically, yeah, the regime might be over, but even people of Iran are not Venezuelans.
right.
They're not going to stand by and let U.S. take their oil. That's
Yeah.
that's why they're so poor in Iran, because the regime took their oil and gave it to China. Now, you think they're
Interesting.
going to just stand by and let America take their oil? No. And I want to say this because, yes, you don't get the truth out there. And I was in Chicago Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so I didn't do much reporting. But I want to make it very clear that I speak on behalf of majority of Iranian people because I talk to them on daily basis.
Right.
They are not, I repeat, they are not happy with where things are going inside Iran anymore. They are almost concerned that will there be anything left in Iran when this war is over? Because we
Mm,
went from following Israel's plan to having our own no plan. And we
right.
have dropped bombs on certain areas that just makes no sense. We're just dropping bombs at this point. So
Well, yeah, it has been speculated that we're already in the build back better phase of this. Like go in, break everything, destroy everything, and then profit off of whatever the build back better is, whether it's seizing the oil, installing a new puppet government, going in and rebuilding in some capacity as long as they're controlling. Like we've seen this happen in Ukraine. I'm certain that they're going to try to do it in Iran. And what do you make of the rumors about Bibi Netanyahu, Annie? There are a lot of rumors out there that he's dead.
I actually heard those rumors, but then I also watched him live with his phone this morning. Well, I should say morning Israel time.
Yeah, yeah,
He did. He actually went to a coffee shop, talked to people. So I can say
right.
those rumors are somewhat just rumors at this
Maybe.
point.
Yeah, yeah,
But what I do know is with the Build Back Better idea, I wrote a long time ago, maybe the first week of Uprising, which would have been the first days of 2026. I wrote and I said, I want US to stay out of it.
yeah,
As an Iranian, as an American, because the US has a history.
hmm,
And I'm concerned for both my fellow Iranians and fellow Americans. If we get involved, we can't just support Israel. We have to get ahead of Israel. We need to lead this war. We don't have a plan. Our current administration has no clue what's inside Iran. So we're
yeah,
going to destroy it. We're going to turn it into another circus. And knowing
yeah.
my fellow Iranians, they're not going to react the way Iraqis or Afghans did.
Mm,
That's when I have to sadly sit here and report on Iranians killing American soldiers, and I would hate that day.
yeah. Mr. Worthless Eater says that the coffee shop video is sus too. We're have to there, again, the fog of war. Nothing is as it seems. This is why it's very difficult to analyze everything. And we're just gonna sit. We're gonna sit back and we're gonna wait. I mean, the bottom line here, though, is that with the closure of the Strait of Hormuz, with the bottleneck now with oil, inability to move it around the world, we're seeing a global economic slowdown, very similar to COVID 19 in 2020. In fact, Catherine Austin Fitts is now there's a clip of Catherine, and she is also echoing my sentiment from last week that COVID 19, or I'm sorry, that the war in Iran is indeed another type of COVID 19 lockdown. Only this time the lockdown will come because of energy crises. And so, unfortunately, these actions, it's just the equivalent of another death blow to the United States economy, our infrastructure, and our ability to operate a free market in this country. And it's all at the hands of Donald Trump, and it's tragic. Annie, the
Shannon, what
report's
if I
now
told
saying,
you, one second, what if I
yeah.
told you the Strait of Hormuz is not closed in hands of Iran's regime? Would you believe me?
Well, yeah. I mean, they're opening it up to allies that are allied against the U.S., right? I mean,
Well, the
so
thing is, they never closed it
that wouldn't surprise me. That
because they
wouldn't
don't
surprise
have a
me.
navy to close it.
So this
This
energy
is
crisis is going
U.S.,
to be entirely coordinated and inflicted upon us. So once
pretty
again,
much.
the governments of the world, Israel, the United States of America, are essentially the arsonists and the firefighters once again. Like it is, well, okay, then we had a faux pandemic. Now I guess we're going to have a faux war. But the impact is going to be real, right? The impact is certainly going to be real. We're going to talk with Michael Yon about this tomorrow. He'll be with us in the Joy Virtual Studio to take this all apart. He is warning that global famine is coming, and that potentially nuclear war is coming as a result of this, as some of the bigger players get involved. I don't know what he's going to have to say about that, but we will talk to him
Right. Let's not
tomorrow.
also forget, because of, I'm using air code, you can't see it, because the regime closed the Strait of Hormuz, we suddenly turned around and gave Russia the right to sell and buy
Yes.
oil. Oh, yeah, right? I
Yep.
mean,
Yep.
those dots are connecting themselves. Hello.
It's pretty crazy. Susie Wiles has been diagnosed with breast cancer.
Yes, I saw that on the update. Well, Trump made
What
it.
is up with that? All right, that's crazy. So what is the messaging there? You never see Susie Wiles with Donald Trump unless she's like poking out of the corner in a press conference. Like you don't ever see her prominently situated. And you mentioned to me in the break that she didn't look good, ashen faced and like just very strange. And so they have this press conference. I mean, this is not impromptu, by the way. They didn't finish up with the discussion and say, oh, by the way, let's just have a little impromptu press conference where Donald Trump's going to declare victory in Iran and then walk it back and then announce that Susie Wiles has cancer, early stage breast cancer. Like, there's certainly an agenda here. Maybe they are going to move Susie Wiles out and replace her with Laura Loomer, who has declared herself really chief of staff to Donald Trump. I mean, according to Laura in India, she's like smuggled in and is Trump's most trusted advisor. So maybe that's what's going on here. Nothing makes any sense.
Well, I adore Loomer on some of her reporting.
She's horrible.
I disagree with all of her methods of reporting, but I apologize.
Yeah.
I don't see her fit for that position. Not that Susie Wiles was.
Just watch.
Just watch. Yeah,
These
but
clowns.
That's the thing, though. With Trump administration, qualification isn't the matter. It's
right.
How much you love me and how much you're going to boost my ego. Never mind. My bad. Yes, that makes perfect sense.
I'm calling it right here. I'm calling it. This is an elaborate attempt to move Susie Wiles out, right? Because everyone's onto her game. Okay, if she has early stages of breast cancer, we wish her the best and ultimate healing. I hope she didn't get vaccinated because if she has the early stages of cancer, it's likely related to the uptake of COVID vaccines. And there's just a ton of data on that now. But our thoughts and prayers are with Susie Wiles. But I'm calling it now. Laura Loomer's moving in. She's moving in. She's the next one, chief of staff.
Oh, Lord.
All right, when we come back, we're going to look at this piece from Nicholas Holscher. We have about 10 minutes left in the SJ show. This is what's going to matter to you. Devastating study coming out. Common vaccines for adults now linked to 38 to 50% increased risk of dementia and Alzheimer's in the single largest vaccine dementia study ever conducted out of the UK. 13.3 million UK adults. It's now becoming clear. I mean, I don't know why anyone ever gets an injection or will ever get an injection ever again. This is devastating. When we come back, we're going to take a look at it here on the SJ Show. Keep it tuned. Hey, everyone. I just wanted to take a moment to thank one of my longtime friends, associates, my financial advisor, and a beloved sponsor of the Shannon Joy Show, Dom Polano over at PCM and Associates. Dom Polano, as many of you know, was the very first Shannon Joy Show advertiser almost 12 years ago, and he's been with us ever since. I trust Dom Polano. He manages some of my assets and my retirement fund, and he's offering his services to all of you. He can take clients anywhere in the country and even across the globe over at PCM and Associates. And as you guys know, it is so important today. There's so much volatility and chaos. You need a human being, a person that you trust, and a person that shares your values. And that's Dom Polano at PCM and Associates. So if you are looking for someone to help you manage your retirement or have investment advice, please consider calling Dom Polano over at PCM and Associates. His number, 1-800-536-1368. That's 1-800-536-1368. And of course, you can go to PCMPolano.com. That is PCMPolano.com to learn about all of his services and get in contact with his team. Again, so thankful for Dom Polano at PCM and Associates. And I think that you are really going to appreciate his services. So that number again, 1-800-536-1368 for a financial advisor that you can trust. At 123.com/joy. Everything that you're going to need for preparation: generators, solar panels, Faraday products. If you want to disappear and protect yourself from the surveillance state, they have an entire line of amazing Faraday products called dark bags. They're always 10% off at the satellite phone store if you go to sat123.com/joy. That is sat sat123.com/joy. The satellite phone store has supported the Shannon Joy Show for many years. They are amazing partners, and let's help the companies that help keep the lights on here at the Shannon Joy Show. So if you are in the market for any of their products or services, make sure you use that promo code JOY and go to sat123.com/joy. That's sat123.com/joy. Welcome back, everyone, to the Shannon Joy Show. Remember, tomorrow, Michael Yon, full hour on geopolitics in the war in Iran. He is brilliant, much smarter than I am, and he has some warnings about what is coming. Strident Conservative, I see you on the live chat. We're in the last 10 minutes of the show. If you guys have something to say, make sure you pop it up in the Substack, X, or Rumble chat. Questions or comments are always welcome. Strident Conservative, Newt Gingrich is out there encouraging Trump to drop about a dozen nukes to blast open the Strait of Hormuz, which actually isn't really closed, which doesn't make any sense. I mean, this is why I would love to actually do analysis on what is going on in the world today with all of you. I mean, that's kind of what I thought I was going to do when I started the Shannon Joy Show 12 years ago, like talk about what's happening. But today, everything is so convoluted and fake that it's very difficult to reasonably or intelligently comment on anything because I don't know what the hell is happening in Iran. I really don't. Michael Yon has a better handle on all of this, and we are going to talk with him tomorrow. And he looks at politics and, through that prism of most of it is fake and propaganda and AI generated. But what are the larger themes? What are the things behind the scenes that they're angling for in that agenda? And so we're going to talk with him tomorrow. We got to get Catherine Austin Fitts in again as well. But this is important because today, millions of Americans, your mom, your dad, your grandma, your grandpa, are going to the doctor. The physician is recommending routine shots, the shingles shot, the flu shot, pneumonia shots, and they're getting them on a regular basis. Well, this study is a study that is linked in the show notes of the Shannon Joy Show. Click on it, download it, stick it in an email, send it to everyone you know. An epidemic, we know, dementia and Alzheimer's has been exploding across the nation and the world in the past 10, 15 years. And now we have a glimpse into why that is. The single largest vaccine dementia study ever conducted, 13.3 million UK adults. Thank you to Nicholas Hulsher and Focal Points for pushing an overview of this study out. This is what he had to write about that. Again, the single largest and most rigorous study ever conducted on vaccines and dementia, spanning 13.3 million UK adults, has uncovered deeply troubling patterns. Those who received common adult vaccines face a significantly higher risk of both dementia and Alzheimer's disease. And this risk intensifies with more doses, remains elevated for a full decade, and is the strongest after influenza and pneumonia vaccination. With each layer of statistical adjustment, the signal doesn't fade. It becomes sharper, more consistent, and increasingly difficult to explain away. And critically, this is another interesting angle on this study. These associations persisted even after adjusting for an unusually wide range of potential co-founders, including age, sex, socioeconomic status, BMI, smoking, alcohol-related disorders, hypertension, atrial fibrillation, heart failure, coronary artery disease, stroke, peripheral vascular disease, diabetes, chronic kidney and liver disease, depression, epilepsy, Parkinson's, cancer, traumatic brain injury, hypothyroidism, osteoporosis, and a dozen other medical conditions ranging from opioids to statins, immunosuppressants, and antidepressants. So even after controlling for this extensive list, the elevated risks remained strong and remarkably stable. Now, when you break it down between dementia and Alzheimer's, This is what they found. The primary adjusted model showed that adults receiving common adult vaccines like influenza, pneumonia, shingles, tetanus, diphtheria, pertussis had a 38% increased risk of developing dementia, which alone dismantles the narratives of vaccines protect the brain. But the deeper findings are even far worse. When they looked at Alzheimer's disease, the Alzheimer's risk is even higher, 50% increased risk. So buried in the supplemental tables is a more shocking result. When the authors restricted analysis to Alzheimer's disease specifically, the association grew even stronger with a 50% increased risk of Alzheimer's, which indicates that the effect is not random. The association intensifies for the most devastating subtype of dementia. So they broke it down even further. For Alzheimer's, if you get one dose, and remember, they looked at common adult vaccines, influenza, pneumonia, shingles, tetanus, diphtheria, and pertussis. And after one dose, there was a 32% increase higher risk of Alzheimer's disease among adults. 2 to 3 doses represented a 41% higher risk, and then 4+ doses represented a 61% higher risk. So the way I'm reading this, if, say, for example, you've had 4 doses of the flu shot, or a pneumonia shot, or a shingles shot over the past 5-10 years, you could be 61% higher risk for developing Alzheimer's disease with those doses. Even more devastating, if you didn't think that was bad enough, another signal emerged that was strongly inconsistent with mere bias, and this is the time-response relationship. So in dementia and Alzheimer's, the increased risk of developing those diseases post-shot was heightened with each additional shot. And the same trend was seen with dementia. So if one vaccine dose, you had a 26% higher risk. If you had 8 to 12 doses, then you were at a 50% higher risk, and that's for dementia. So that was consistent across the board, and it shows essentially the more vaccines you get, the more likely you are to experience that heightened risk for dementia or Alzheimer's. But even further was the time response relationship. So the highest dementia risk occurred 2 to 5 years after vaccination. The risk then slowly attenuates, but never ever returns to baseline, remaining elevated across all time windows. After 12.5 years, the risk is still meaningfully elevated, a persistence incompatible with short-term detection bias and suggestive of a long-lasting biological impact. So when they say short-term detection bias, they mean that people associate, well, I just got this shot and I developed this disease or this illness afterwards, and there's a bias there in that reporting. Well, once you hit 12.5 years, that bias disappears, making this report even more stunning. This is terrible. Even after a 10-year lag, the increased risk does not disappear. So taken together, this is disastrous. Again, 13.3 million UK citizens. This is the largest single largest vaccine dementia study ever conducted. And taken together, the findings across primary, supplemental, dose response, time response, stratified, and sensitivity analysis paint the exact same picture. A consistent association between cumulative vaccination and increased dementia risk. A stronger association for Alzheimer's than for general dementia. A dose response effect, more vaccines, higher risk. A time response effect, risk peaks after exposure and it persists long term. And influenza and pneumonia vaccines are strongly driving the exact same signal. The association remaining after a 10-year lag correction, and active comparator controls. This is what robust epidemiological signals look like. And this is what everyone should know. I wonder if Bobby Kennedy Jr. and HHS and the FDA are going to release a press release or make Americans aware of these new risks, the signals that are shown in this unbelievable study. So we're going to look at this. I'm going to reach out to Nicholas. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. Because our government, HHS, FDA, Donald Trump, they are completely sold out 100% to the pharma industry and the medical industrial complex. And, you can't drain people's bank accounts and leave them utterly penniless unless you have the ability to poison them on a regular basis, right? I mean, this is horrifying. Fez Woody with a comment. The bioweapon spike protein can cross the blood-brain barrier and cause misfolded proteins. So the combo of aluminum and spike speeds up the process dramatically. I mean, aluminum crosses over the blood-brain barrier. Aluminum is featured in so many of common childhood and adult vaccines. And then when you combine that with millions of Americans who were jabbed 2, 4, 6, 8 times with the COVID shots, the mRNA technology, and the spike protein, all of those things together, I mean, it's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Unbelievable. So we're going to keep an eye on this, but if you want access to this study and you want to share it with everyone you know, again, from my perspective, for me, this is not health advice. I will not be getting another injection, probably ever. Probably ever. Just tragic. Absolutely tragic. Well, I want to thank all of you for being with us today. We have run out of time here in the SJ show. Appreciate Inez Annie Cyrus and her amazing production of the Shannon Joy Show. I appreciate all of you on all of the platforms. As I mentioned, tomorrow we have Michael Yon joining us, Doc Malik from across the pond over in UK, probably wanting to make a comment about this new study on vaccine, Alzheimer's, and dementia as well. We're going to be featuring Doc Malik in the Joy Virtual Studio on Monday. We're going to continue with this analysis. And of course, I want to remind all of you, we have 3 days left for you to get your tickets today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. And the cutoff on Wednesday is probably going to be around 4 or 5 o'clock. We have 40 tickets left for the Summit for Truth and Wellness. Dr. William Mackis, speaking of cancers, he is curing cancers. He is treating thousands and thousands of individuals across the US and the globe with protocols that are working. And he's going to be here in Rochester, New York. Get your tickets ASAP, theshannonjoy.com, theshannonjoy.com. And yeah, we've got a lot to get to this week, but we'll continue to take it all apart here in the Shannon Joy Show. Hope you have a safe evening. Those winter weather storms are barreling across the East Coast and North America. So everyone stay safe and secured against the wind. Hopefully we won't have too many power outages, but yeah, Ides of March, guys. What can I say? Things go crazy. Everyone loses their mind during the Ides of March. So we're just here with all of you white-knuckled on the roller coaster trying to figure it all out. So appreciate all of you. Again, thank you to our sponsors, Peter Schiff over at Schiff Gold. Go to schiffgold.com/joy. That is schiffgold.com/joy to learn about hedging against the economic chaos with gold and silver. PCM and Associates, Dom Polano. He's my financial advisor. He can be yours too. He's been mine for over 20 years. He's amazing. PCMPolano.com. That is PCMPolano.com. Of course, the Wellness Company. Thank you to TWC coming on as an annual sponsor of the SJ Show. You can get all of your goods over there at health. Oh, do I have it? Let me make sure I get this right. Where is my new URL? TWC. www.twc.health/joy. So www.twc.health/joy. Use the promo code JOY when you check out for a discount. And we're going to be talking about all kinds of great items from the wellness company. And of course, satellite phone store, sat123.com, sat123.com, across the board. Anything that you purchase when you are prepping for whatever is going to come, you get 10% off with the promo code JOY. So we couldn't bring this show to you without our sponsors. We really appreciate them, and I hope you will as well. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again right here on the Shannon Joy Show.